Richard, when I think about the nature of reality, questions about does God exist, do I have some non-physical element about me are critically important. But when I really ponder things, the question, why anything at all, is so powerful, it literally makes my body chill. How can we even begin to make progress on something like this? Because it asks such a fundamental question.
I don't believe we can make progress on something like this put that way. I think we can answer the question, why is there a physical universe? And I think the answer is in terms of God having made it and sustained it. But the question, why is there anything, would include the question, why is there a God? And I don't think we can answer that. Indeed, I don't think it has an answer, because inevitably you can explain X by Y and Y by Z and Z by A and so on, but this is going to come to a stop somewhere. And if it doesn't, then in fact nothing would, as it were, it would be like a series of objects, each of which depended on the other object without anything holding them up. So you must come to a stop somewhere. And this is an ultimate question which cannot be answered. The only questions we can answer is why there is a physical universe, and we ought to postulate the simplest explanation which leads us to expect the phenomena. And I think that the existence of God is that.
I understand that, and that is not the question we're asking. The question we're asking is, why is there anything at all, rather than a total blank? No space, no time, no laws, no God, no nothing. And some people say that's a meaningless question. You cannot even ask the question.
Well, I think you can ask the question, but I think I was trying to give you an answer as to why the question couldn't be answered.
Well, there's a difference. Some people say you can't ask the question, and you're saying you can ask the question.
I understand the question. My reason for thinking that it can't be answered is simply that explanation must come to a stop somewhere, for the reason I've given. That is to say, if everything is explained by something else, then nothing has an explanation, because it's like a series of people who are each hanging on somebody else. And unless there's somebody some final person keeping all the people up, they'll fall to the ground. So given this reason for thinking there must be a stopping point, why that stopping point is bound to be unanswerable, because it is just a stopping point.
Now, when we have a stopping point, some would claim that stopping point is God. Some would claim that it's a cosmic consciousness. Some would claim it's the laws of physics. And at this point, I'm not trying to adjudicate between those kinds of things. Those are whole big other subjects. I'm just trying to determine what, if anything, is a stopping point, and what are the general characteristics of a stopping point. Indeed, some people claim that we don't need a stopping point, that there's an infinite series of causes which is logical.
Well, let's distinguish when talking about infinite series of causes. And the point I'm making is a point Aquinas made. That is to say, it may well be that there's a series of causes backward in time which goes on forever. That's possible. But what we're asking is, at a given time, is there any ultimate explanation why things are in existence at that time? And my suggestion is, yes, it's God. But there isn't going to be an explanation of why there is anything at all at that time. The answer, you may say, well, you may think that the answer is in terms of things at an earlier time, but then the question, if you think that is an adequate answer, and I don't altogether, but if you think that is an adequate answer, then the question arises, why is there this infinite series at all?
Yes, right. And
the answer is, well, either this is how it is, there is this infinite series, or some more supreme principle, some being is keeping it in existence and sustaining its existence. I think the latter is the correct answer. But what you cannot give an answer to is, why is there this being which is keeping them in existence as well as them. That is where explanation stops. Aquinas said we may be able in the world to come to see the essence of God, but we will never be able to understand it. That is to say, this is a question, if it has an answer, is beyond human understanding because of our very understanding of what events and explanation and so on consist in.